Thanks for tuning in. This is Thomper Be Thompin', and in this video I want to give you a quick run through of all 16 plus mods I've made to this 2024 KTM 300 XCW in order to get it ready for Hare Scramble racing and just kind of general trail riding here on the East Coast. I like to go bushwhacking and try all sorts of different kinds of disciplines of riding, and I'm kind of rough on these things because I tend to crash a lot, so some protection parts were a must. So first, real quick, if you're in the Mid-Atlantic and looking for your next toy, I really hope you check out Blue Ridge Powersports located in Harrisonburg, Virginia. All their information is listed in the description below. If you're after a Honda, KTM, or Can-Am, they've got you covered. They have brand new on- and off-road motorcycles. I'm talking sport bikes, cruisers, adventure bikes, dual sports, trail bikes, competition motocross, enduro, and cross-country bikes. They also carry sport quads and utility 4x4s from Honda and Can-Am, in addition to both brands' side-by-sides or UTVs. Check out their website or call a sales rep for their current and incoming inventory. With Blue Ridge Powersports, it doesn't matter if you're there to buy a little Honda CRF 50F for your Munchkin or a top-of-the-line, high-dollar sports side-by-side from Can-Am. Every customer is treated as if they want your business and for you to return in the future for your next machine. And you can rest assured, everything that rolls off their showroom floor has been assembled with care. They also carry all the best brands, both for you as a rider and anything you need for your new toy. I really hope you consider Blue Ridge Powersports for your next purchase. Trust me, you'll have a great experience. So first things first is a full set of KTM branded plastics. I purchased these through Rocky Mountain ATV, and I bought them for the XCW, but I still received a flat number plate and a rear fender that only work for the XC models. So something to keep in mind if you order the same kit. Obviously, you want to save the stock plastics for when you resell the bike later on, so it'll be nice to keep those fresh and clean this time. So of course I needed new graphics for the bike. I went with a company called SKDA out of Australia. I've had their graphics in the past and I really like them. They got great styles, a ton of different styles to choose from, and to me the graphics are pretty high quality. I stuck with my same number of 20J this year because I'm going to be racing Hare Scrambles again, and they also have matching seat covers. In my very humble opinion, the stock seat covers on these bikes they're fine for regular trail riding, but they really don't give you a ton of grip, and they don't have the ribs in between here either. So I've said this in previous videos, I have no idea why the XCWs do not come with a map switch. They are map switch ready. There's a little dongle plugged in behind the number plate, so you can buy the same exact map switch for the XC or the XCW Hard Enduro version. But yeah, they just neglect to put it on the XCW. I don't know why. I worked with Blue Ridge Powersports, and they were awesome in helping me hunt down a map switch so I could actually use it on this bike. So I think that comes stock in the green map, the aggressive map, so it's nice to be able to have that white mellow map should you need it. So the next modification I made is the fan. And I know 2-strokes run a lot cooler than 4-strokes, and I'm honestly not out there doing hours and hours of proper hard enduro riding, but I still wanted the fan kit for peace of mind. So I got this fan from Slavens Racing. It's made by a company called Extreme Powersports. So it's kind of an off-brand fan, at least to me. I'm not really familiar with that company. Honestly, I thought I was buying a KTM branded fan, but I saw after I ordered that it was quite a bit cheaper than the KTM fan, and it was made by Extreme Powersports. However, I will say that everything bolted up perfectly. The fan appears to be really high quality, and of course it's plug and play. Underneath the seat, you just plug it right in. There's a receiver ready for you there. So I think the fan comes on at about 190 degrees. Again, just peace of mind. So for Radiator Guards, I will say that the stock plastic ones are decently stout. A lot of riders could probably get away with using those. I am kind of a sloppy C-class rider, so I wanted to upgrade them to something a little bit stronger, and I ultimately chose the Tusk brand from Rocky Mountain. They are billet aluminum. They come in a lot of different colors, and I've used them in the past and they've held up really, really well. So very happy so far with the Tusk Radiator Guards. I think they'll perform great for this bike as well. Now, where the rubber meets the road, I'm actually going to stick with the stock tires and wear out at least the rear. When that AT81 is done, I may replace the front MX33 as well. Probably to like a Bridgestone M59. It's kind of what everybody around here in the Mid-Atlantic runs. But I'm kind of a fan of the AT81. I do see they just announced the AT82 Geomax. So that's probably the tire I'm going to try next. Just a good all-around trail tire, good for Hare Scrambles. Probably not the best for hard enduro, certainly not. It's not a gummy. But inside is where I made a big change. I'm running Tubliss. So I've run tubeless on my previous 2-stroke and on the 350, and I've had really good success with them. It's just kind of a habit now. I'm familiar with the system. I like the way it works. I really like being able to dial in the air pressure in the rear tire specifically, and you can go ultra low for those super sloppy days. So I'm a fan of the tubeless system. I've honestly never tried like mooses or anything, so I'm sure those are great, but tubeless, it's a good option. So for the handlebar setup, I picked up a new set of Cycra Pro Style full wrap handguards. I've tried multiple top tier brands in the past, and these have been the strongest in my experience. They bolt right up, and they do have a little bit of adjustability. For the bar width here, I did end up cutting off about 1 full inch on the bars to make navigating the trees a little bit easier, and these still fit just fine. The grips are ODI Rogue II lock-ons. I like this grip quite a bit. I've had good success with them, and I do prefer them in black, but they were sold out, so dark gray for the win. And then grip donuts, some people run them, some don't. I prefer to. Lastly, the stock KTM bar pad doesn't fit with these handguards, so I picked up the Cycra bar pad. So for the front rotor guard, I've typically run Enduro Engineering's version of their rotor guard in the past, and I've always had great success, but this time I just decided to mix it up a little bit, and I went with the Bulletproof Designs front rotor guard. It comes in many different colors, it's lightweight, it's strong, so we're gonna give it a shot this go around. So to protect the other fork, I just opted for a simple little shoe. I debated a couple different options. There's some really strong metal ones, very thick plastic ones, but ultimately I went with the Acerbis like thinner plastic version. It's decently stout, so I'm hoping it'll help protect the rebound clicker at the bottom of the fork there. We'll see. So for the rear rotor guard, I went with Bulletproof Designs again. I've run this setup in the past, and I really like that they have a fully integrated caliper guard. So the only way you can run that is if you run their rotor guard. There are many cheaper options out there, like Tusk through Rocky Mountain. They sell a rotor guard for, I don't know, like half the price, if that. So there's a couple different options there. I just really like the Bulletproof Design setup. So this next modification is a small and cheap one, but it does have a huge impact, at least for me. I upgraded the brake tip to a larger one from Enduro Engineering. I think it's made out of titanium, and it comes in 2 sizes, 45mm and 35mm. I went for the 45. Now that small difference in brake tip size can mean quite a bit out on the trail, especially in a hare scramble. Towards the end of the race, you're getting a little bit sloppy, and your form is breaking down a little bit. I had this brake tip on my previous 2-stroke. I did not have it on my 350 that I raced last year, and now I'm going to put it on this bike again this year. I'm hoping that I can just eliminate those few times during a race where you kind of miss your rear brake here and there. So on my previous 2 bikes, I've always gotten the Bulletproof Designs chain guide mount and the TM Designs chain guide. Those 2 coupled together make for a super stout chain guide setup. That's just a big improvement over stock. It's much stronger. So this go around, I tried to try something a little bit cheaper, and I went with the Tusk version of the chain guide. And I'll say, don't waste your money on it. It's definitely not an upgrade over the stock chain guide, not at all. I would say it's worth purchasing if you break your stock chain guide and you're just looking for a cheap but quality replacement. Sure, go ahead and buy it, you'll probably save some money. But if you're looking to upgrade for hard enduro to make it much more impact resistant and reliable, go with that Bulletproof Designs and TM Designs setup. It's much better. So I also upgraded the throttle position sensor guard. The bike comes with a cheap thin plastic one, which is probably pretty decent for most situations, but that is kind of a sensitive, more exposed area of the engine compartment, and so I upgraded that to the Tusk aluminum piece. That's much more stout and protective and not too terribly expensive. Oh, and lastly, I put on these Acerbis swing arm guards. At first I was like, man, these things are kind of funky. Are they going to be very sturdy? And then once I got them fully mounted, I thought, man, this is actually a pretty clever design. So mostly kind of a bling thing just for looks, but it will protect the swing arm from deep scratches and things. So the final upgrade that I've made, at least so far, is this Spartan MX Parts Headlight. They're a company out of Slovenia. They make a bunch of cool parts for enduro bikes. I'll have a full video out on this light in a little bit. So looking forward, there's a few more bolt-on parts I might purchase for the bike. Like the skid plate is still the stock skid plate, which is okay, but there's going to be much better options out there on the market. Right now AXP makes one, but shipping it to the US right now is just a little bit prohibitive. So I'm going to wait for some other skid plates to come out. There are some metal options out right now. You know, this is December 2023, but I'll likely wait for the Tusk version because it's high quality. I used it on my previous bike. I'm really happy with them, so I'll just wait for them and their ultra heavy duty plastic version to come out. There's some other things like the flange guard. I ran that on my previous 2-stroke, you know, to help just protect that part of the engine casing where your header pipe comes in case you take a huge nasty hit right there. You won't snap that part of your casing off. Other things like, you know, the stator cover and the clutch cover, I may look to upgrade those. I'm really happy with the stock foot pegs. And then who knows, I might get an aftermarket exhaust too, something with a spark arrestor, since I do ride some trails where they'll come and check for those with like a long screwdriver or something. So that's it so far. Thanks for watching.